All right. Good morning. How are you doing? Everything's
Good
good?
morning, Doctor. Alhamdulillah. What about you?
I'm
Good
good. I'm
morning,
good.
doctor. We are good.
Uh, Winter this time now is coming, I think, and everybody wants to sleep. Yeah. I would like to, before we're going to start, I would like to find out how are you going with your assignment. Everything is good. December 10, you have one more month, basically more 40 days. And I think everybody, only one submitted so far from your class. So anyway, you can submit anytime so that I can also check and I can find out if you were able to meet the requirements. Okay. So we shall start now with our class. By the way, you have scheduled already on your course assessment, ICA. I have not received any schedule yet, but you have any idea? No idea. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All
Yes, we
right.
can hear you.
So I'm thinking of giving you the coverage of your ICA by tomorrow or a day after because I'm still trying to find out when. And there are so many supposed to be things covered, but I will not include those things. Now I have still to decide what to include. I do not want to burden you with so much. So I will be restricting myself to give you at least around 3 or 4 topics. Yeah. So first and second, first 2 topics are already supposed to be included already. Maybe third topic. Now let's try to find out. I'll try to make an announcement the day after tomorrow. Yeah, so that you can begin your preparation for your ICA. All right. So moving forward, last week we were discussing about intelligence, and I gave you so many approaches in order to define what intelligence is. But intelligence, so far for now, is very difficult to fathom because so many psychologists are disagreeing. The fact that intelligence is difficult to explain. Now, in order to come out objectively in terms of defining and understanding intelligence, there are so many psychologists who agreed to define intelligence according to approach. The first thing that I mentioned that I discussed last week was actually the process approach. Now in the process approach, a person is intelligent when he will be able to utilize information available to him in order to solve problems. So in short, the bottom line is that an individual must make it sure that he acquired some sort of information and utilize all this information in order to give solutions to the problems that he's facing. That's intelligence. Now, what about the profession that I'm actually into, like for instance, nursing? A similar way, you will be intelligent in a way if you're going to utilize information in nursing in order to solve the problem that is associated to nursing profession. So that's actually intelligence according to process approach. So intelligence can be acquired, intelligence can be learned, intelligence can be associated with how much information that you can actually acquire. So the more you read, the more you acquire information, the more that you can actually use this information in order to solve problem, then the more intelligent you are. So that's the reason why a lot of people are actually telling that you're very intelligent in a way, according to some of them, just because you're reading. Reading is associated with acquiring of information. You have a lot of information acquired through your experiences, then you will be intelligent also. So this is how we look at intelligence according to process approach. I also started discussing with you the psychometric approach. This is a little bit more objective because here psychologists are using psychometric tool in order to measure the IQ of an individual. So using statistics, using standard, using rubrics, using what we call as the baseline data in order to tell if a person is actually intelligent or not. And there are so many psychologists who advocated, like in the case of Spearman, I discussed with you last week about the 2-factor of Spearman. the S factor and the G factor, no specific factor and the general factor. But in a way, this is what we call as a two-factor theory. In a way, all these factors will individually will help an individual to solve problems also that he is facing. Another psychologist that I think I stop here is Thorsten. He lived until 1955, no? He made a very good influence in cognitive psychology in the study of intelligence as well. Because here, Thurston identified primary mental abilities on an individual, no? That give rise to multiple intelligence that we know of today. Now, but in Thurston, there are several ways in order to express intelligence in terms of primary mental abilities, and these are word fluency. You see, we have this also in multiple intelligence, no? Word fluency, the way you utilize words, the way you manipulate words, the way, of course, it comes out with the way you speak with people, the way you write. So word fluency, the more you read, the more you acquire words, the more you acquire knowledge about words, the more you can use words, right? So memory, so you can remember things. Reasoning, you can do abstraction. Numerical ability, spatial visualization, perceptual ability, and verbal apprehension. These are all somewhat measured in the test that they invented. We call that a psychological test. We call that as IQ tests. So they invented such tests, no? And that's one way, one approach, no? Another one, of course, if you're going to look at word fluency, it's the ability to think of words rapidly. You can easily pick up word. When you talk to people, there is no more means. You do not mean any word at all, any second at all. You just actually think and speak as you think. Verbal comprehension is the ability to define words. You know the meaning of what you are actually speaking. You know the meaning of what you're talking about. I believe in IELTS it's measured also, no? So spatial ability is your ability to recognize figure whose position in space has been changed. Your perceptual speed, no? That is your ability to detect similarities. That's the reason why in Facebook or in other venues, you will be able to find out intelligence tests as they presume. Then later on, you can actually find patterns. They draw figures, they draw numbers, then you will be able to find patterns. That's spatial intelligence, no? Or perceptual speed, all right? You'll be able to find similarities and differences as such. Then reasoning is actually your ability to use your logical thought, no? So that means to say you can actually come out immediately with a high speed. Let's say, the beginning, the cause to the effect that you are observing, cause and effect. You know that fully well in science. Number and memory. In short, you have general ability to do things, right? That is, according to Leo Thorsten, that is one approach of intelligence, no psychometric approach, right? In this case, Thorsten called his theory as theory of mental abilities. The mental abilities are the 7 areas where you can actually excel. All right. For Spearman, he called his theory as two-factor because of general and specific factors. Anyway, these are all measurable. And they are trying to find a way to measure intelligence as such because as of this time, intelligence could highly be subjective, no? Right? So they would like to be objective in trying to measure intelligence among people. So this is the way, no? All right. Another one, of course, is Guilford, no? D.P. Guilford in 19. You know, D.P. Guilford actually was born after Thurston died, no? So he's current. He died just in 1982, no, from 1959 to 1982, a very young age, no? He proposed that there are 100 intelligence factors, no? That means to say, Guilford differed from Thurston. Thurston got only 7, but Guilford mentioned about 150 intelligence factors. So he widened it, no? So according to Guilford, intelligence consists of 150 abilities. So much, no? So these separate factors result from interaction of contents, what we think about, operation, the way we think about, no? And of course, the products, the result of the application of certain operation to certain content, or our thinking a certain way about a certain subject. We will always be using all these 150 intelligence factors to come out with a decision on what you're actually to do. Bottom line again is, all these 150 intelligence factors will be utilized in order to solve the problems. So if you're going to look at the process approach and the psychometric approach a similar way, it seems that intelligence is actually your ability to solve problems. So solving problem may be approached in different perspective. So this is actually the key. In short, intelligence has a practical purpose. Without education, but yet you'll be able to solve problem, then you are intelligent. That is assumingly what is actually derived at until now, based on the discussions of various theories that we have. Now, so let's try to continue with Guilford, no? Content, according to Guilford, includes such thing as visual, so using our sensation, right? Using the way we detect information, the way we receive information from our surrounding places, no? So content includes such as things as visual, auditory, symbolic, semantic, and behavioral. Now, products are units, classes, relations, systems, and transformation and implications, while operations include evaluation, convergent production, divergent production, memory, and cognition. So in short, we'll be able to use this in order to think and come out with a solution of the problem that we are facing. Okay, that's 150 intelligence factor of Guilford. All right, another one, the most famous of them all, is current Raymond Cattell. No, so we are still using the intelligence test until now because it's very relevant, and the intelligence tests are actually standardized. That means to say, when we say standardized, it is acceptable among all group of people across culture. Now, in psychometrics, I'm telling you this now because I myself is involved in psychometrics. Some tests are only relevant to a specific race, to a specific age group, to a specific gender. Others, no? A psychometric test is very difficult to standardize because we have to make it sure that it targets what we need to target. Yeah, it will actually say something. Okay. So Raymond Cattell proposed a distinction between two types of intelligence, which the term as fluid and crystallized. Now, fluid intelligence, according to Cattell, includes reasoning and problem solving. Reasoning means to say, when we say fluid, it is actually free flowing, just like liquid in the river. It is adjustable. It is not very rigid. You can actually, it's some sort of utilizing these things in order to understand. Yeah. So we can derive information, we can acquire theoretical knowledge, we can acquire theoretical skills in order to solve the problem that we have. That's fluid intelligence. Anything goes. As long as these are actually very useful with our decision making, that can actually be applied in solving the problem that we are facing. That's fluid intelligence. On the other hand, crystallized intelligence are called specific topics, specific knowledge gained from applying fluid intelligence. This is an offshoot, no? So crystallized intelligence is an offshoot of fluid intelligence. So we will be able to establish with specific facts that will be acceptable to all. You see? Just like the explanation about black hole. Anything goes there, isn't it? Anything goes there. As long as a person can actually reason out the existence of it, it is good. Now, the bottom line, and again, that is actually fluid intelligence. You can always propose anything as long as it attempts to explain. And later on, that knowledge that you are going to establish will become a crystallized intelligence because it's there, it's facts. Another one, of course, is the creation of the universe. There is what we call as implosion and explosion, the Big Bang. And of course, there are people who are always sticking to the Bible and to our Quran that God created the universe. You see? As long as you can actually come up with the explanation of something that is accurate, then that's fluid intelligence. Anything goes there. So you think creatively, you try to process information available to you, you try to utilize all the intelligence that can actually be picked up by you, then that's intelligence. We call that fluid intelligence. Anything goes, like flowing water in the river. And flowing water in the river, in the end, will actually stop in the ocean. That ocean is a crystallized intelligence. You see? Where it's a fact. Where it becomes undisputed. Right? So, crystallized intelligence are specific knowledge gained from applying fluid intelligence. The crystallized intelligence involves the ability to use an accumulated body of general information to make judgment and solve problems. Just like in nursing, you see, we will be able to know how to solve problems. Before, there are so many people who are actually trying to explain about the cause of fever. Now, we shall know. So, the explanation of the cause of fever before is actually under fluid intelligence. Now we know what could be the cause of fever. There are only two. And that is the disturbance in the hypothalamus. There must be something wrong with the brain. And at the same time, it could be caused by infection. Viral or bacterial infection. Now, the moment we know this, we know that there is viral infection. When we inspect the person, we know that there is bacterial infection when we assess the person. So we will be able to decide what to do. We'll be able to apply a specific treatment regimen in order to solve the infection caused by bacteria or virus or anything else. So that's crystallized intelligence, no? We are actually definite in solving the problem. Now, this kind of intelligence has to be specifically learned and is therefore dependent on your education and culture, like in the case of nursing. You see? You learn that. So therefore, the moment you acquire a profession, you are intelligent already because you have something to use in all true problems that we have. Just like right now, whatever you do at home, you think like a nurse. The principle of infection control, you think like a nurse when you go at home. You wash your hand, properly, you see? You use the principle of hand-washing technique, and at the same time, when you are actually opening the casserole or laying down your plates, you are always thinking about infection control because you have something already. You learned something already. So that all these things that you learn can be applicable, can be applied specifically. Yeah? Can be applied specifically to a specific problem that you have faced. Right? That's Raymond Cattell. That's why it's very important, and his theory is very relevant. Okay? A theory of fluid and crystallized intelligence. All right. And there are also other theories that we know of right now. We call them contemporary. Contemporary are current theories. Current means to say these are the theories that exist until now. All right? The contemporary theory of multiple intelligences. Right? So the first person who proposed this is Howard Gardner, no? In the 1990s, I remember my psychology professors were always telling about his work. He became famous because of this, because Howard Gardner actually mentioned about his work, no? Between 1983 to 1993, he did a lot of works, no? On multiple intelligences. It's not only one time. a continuous, no? I'm just checking class. You can hear me, right? You can understand and follow?
Yes, we can.
Yeah, because once in a while, just get me attention, because I do not want anymore to experience one which was experienced last time. You know, I was talking here and you were not able to hear me. So in between, if you were able to observe that I could not be audible, then just get me attention, please. Okay. All right.
Sure.
Thank you. Moving forward, Howard Gardner was very famous during my time when I was studying psychology. You see, because when there is something new in the field, a lot of people would actually gang on that particular theory or new knowledge, then try to dissect that and utilize that for their own benefit. And in fact, my advisor was always telling me, um, that this is a very good theory that you may actually utilize in your research. You see? So many things. He became famous because of that. His work was very famous during the time in between 1 decade, no? 1 decade, right? So according to Howard Gardner, intelligence comes in different packages, just like what we learned earlier. Yeah? You see, Spearman, Thurston mentioned about 7 areas, Spearman 2 areas, Thurston mentioned about seven factors. So look at this. No, Cattell mentioned about 150. Now Howard Gardner actually went back a similar way with Thurston, right? Right? He mentioned about 8 multiple intelligences. No, he knows that brain damage may diminish one type of ability, but not others. So that means to say, one type of intelligence may not be acquired, but the other form of intelligence may actually be nourished. So somehow telling that every single individual is an intelligent, I agree with him. I really totally agree with him. Huh? So an individual, all of us are intelligent. No one can tell that we are dumb. No one can tell that we are stupid. This is the thing that I like. Because in psychometrics, you see, there is always a baseline that they are actually telling. So you see, if you have an IQ that is 100, you're an average individual. Because that's 1 over 1 times 100, right? Your mental age divided by chronological age times 100. You see, if you are 20 years old and you think and act like 20-year-old, then your IQ must be 100 because of the formula. Mental age 1, mental age equals 20, chronological age, your current age equals 20, 20 divided by 20 equals 1 times 100. So the IQ is 100. That's the baseline that we're using in the IQ test. But Howard Gardner actually went contradictory to this, right? Every single individual is an intelligent person because there are 8 areas that we can actually derive intelligence from. Really, if you're going to look at that, I think this is sensible. Yeah, so in multiple intelligence, at least we know how to do 2 or 3 areas we may be good at. You see, there are so many people who are very good in numbers, but they are not good in words, or the other way around. There are so many people who are good in words, but not good in numbers. You see? But of course, you will be very lucky if you have them all. But it's impossible, you see? Because the intelligent people that I know of, extremely intelligent, may not actually be good in that dancing, you see. So bodily kinesthetic. Maybe they are devoid of sports, no? Bodily kinesthetic and athletic, you see. But if you are athletic and you can actually manipulate and you can easily manipulate your body through dancing, then that's intelligence, according to Howard Gardner also. I think I discussed with you about this last time, no? Now, Gardner also studied reports of people with exceptional abilities, including those who excel in only one, the savants. Remember the savants? You call them autistic, but we call in psychology as savants. They may not be stupid at all. Now, the most famous, I think I watched this 5 times already. Yeah, if you're familiar with Forrest Gump, it's still there. Now, Forrest Gump, if you have Netflix, you watch Forrest Gump. You know, Forrest Gump seems to be very stupid. The way he thinks like a child. But look, he devoted this time one skill after another, and he was able to succeed. You see? So this is the thing. There are so many genius that we can call them, because you see, if you're actually going to get the psychological test result, they're really good, no? The savants, right? Really genius, but they may not be good in other areas. They may be good in one aspect only, right? So Gardner studied reports of people with exceptional abilities, including those who excel in only one. For example, the Savant syndrome in some people. You see, so you try to spot this from among people who are very autistic. They are gifted anyway. Now here is actually the call. This score low on intelligence test, but they have an island of brilliance. No, some incredible ability, as in computation, they can recite the value of pi up to the billionth. You know, the value of pi. Actually, the value of pi is unlimited. No, it's limitless. You cannot go to the end. You know pi, right? 3.141516 and so on and so forth. Now, or drawing or musical memory. Others can actually play without understanding the theory of music. There are so many people like that. There are so many people also who can play chess and defeat those people who are masters in chess. And so many things. We can actually recognize people like that in our community. But of course, they're always cast away. They cannot simply mingle with other people. So there is a problem there, because interpersonal relationship is off, is absent. So this is one wonderful thing that we can actually derive and we can actually know, right? So moving forward, Gardner argues that we do not have an intelligence, but instead of multiple intelligences. You see? So he stresses out. Gardner stressed that we do not have an actual intelligence, but a person may possess multiple intelligences. That's why, if you're going to look at his multiple intelligences, his theory of multiple intelligences, at least an individual may possess 2 or more multiple intelligences. All right? So it's independent of the others. Right? So that's the thing. In addition to the verbal or mathematical aptitudes, now I think, I do not know if I placed here the different, yes, the different multiple intelligence of Gardner. See, for now, there are actually 8. No, I will discuss this later on to you. So I'm just giving you an idea about what Gardner mentioned. Every single individual may have at least a minimum of 2 or more, but it's impossible that you're going to have 8. No, you are already something else. You see, there are people who may be good in language, but they are bad in nature. There are people who are very good in music, but they are good, or they're bad in logic. Things like that. Every single intelligence is independent from the other. So you can actually pick up a respective intelligences that you may possess, because you could have possessed this. You may possess this. You see, a single individual, an average individual, as we know of, may be intelligent in 2 or more areas of multiple intelligences, according to Howard Gardner. Anyway, moving forward, so let us try to look into the contention of Howard Gardner, right? In addition to the verbal and mathematical aptitudes assessed by standard tests that we know, he was able to identify distinct aptitude for musical accomplishment. Now, there are people who are very good in music. Music is the appreciation of music, and at the same time doing music as such. Yeah, you may be good in piano, you may be good in guitar. You may be good in organs. You may be good in singing also. You see, that's that's musical accomplishment. Or you may be good in composing, things like that. Now, for spatially analyzing the visual world, also spatial intelligence. If you're going to look at your room, once in a while you rearrange that, no? Then mastering movement skills. This is bodily kinesthetic. Those who are good in dancing, those are good in magic. You know, these are the people who are actually good in sports. And for insightfully understanding ourselves and others. Understanding others, this is intrapersonal and interpersonal. Understanding ourselves is intrapersonal, and understanding others will be interpersonal intelligences. You may possess both, and every single intelligence that you may actually have is totally independent from the other. And I would like to tell you this, every single individual, every single person of you may possess two minimum, and you may possess more. That's why you are also called intelligent. No matter what you are doing actually in the class, no matter how you're failing, no one actually can tell you that you are a moron or you're stupid. You are intelligent in a way. You see? So, moving forward, Gardner proposed 7 different components of intelligence. It started with this, now it's 8. And there is one new study, they added religiosity in multiple intelligences. Now there will be 9. But 9 is not yet acknowledged. But they are trying to add it now. Religion. There are people who are actually very good in religiosity. Anyway, first, Gardner proposed 7 components of intelligence. No? So that include not only language ability, it will include also logical mathematical thinking, spatial thinking, musical ability, bodily kinesthetic and manipulations, then interpersonal and intrapersonal intelligences. So these are the 7 multiple intelligence that he proposed. The most common multiple intelligence that we know of is 8, no? Because they added one way or another the 8 category. The naturalistic intelligences or nature. Right now they added 9, as I mentioned earlier, and that is religiosity or religion. Okay. So this is the model of Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences, as we know of. Right? There are 8 of them as of now. No, each intelligence is independent from another. They may not influence one another. Each has its own, let's say, capacity to influence an individual. Now, linguistic or word smart, and I keep on telling you this, no? If you are word smart, you can manipulate words as easily as possible. You can always tell this among students who are actually very good in essay. I have been observing so many students who are actually taking my examinations. Before we utilize our computer-aided assessment, we are still paper-based. You can see, no? After 5 minutes, a student already would be raising the hand. And then when you approach them, they would ask some papers. See? Why? They would ask some papers because they have already filled out the paper that we give them. Normally, we give them 1 or 2 extra paper. You know? The RRE sheet, we call it, no? Then when we give this paper and we try to look on our left or on our side, there are students who have not started yet the exams. You see? You can actually see the difference. If you are good in linguistic and word smart, after 1 minute, you will be able to fill out already 1 page, while others have difficulty. You see? Writing a single word is starting their essay. So that's one thing. Next one, logical or number smart. No? There are people who are good in mathematics. They can easily compute. They can actually operate the different mathematical concepts. No? They can easily come out with certain mathematical ideas. By the way, they can come out with different theorems to prove a theory, to prove something. So that's logical and number smart. They actually represent around them, everything around them according to numbers. And it's good also, no? There are people that I know of who are actually good in mathematics, not only in mathematics, but in logical reasoning. Yeah? Then interpersonal people smart. Uh, you see, I tried having this, but I think I'm always failing. Because it's very difficult. As psychology, sometimes it's very difficult. But you can actually see these some people who are good salesmen. They can easily convince people to buy their product, even though their products are useless. You see, they can even sell anything. But there are people who are not good in selling. They cannot sell anything at all. You see, they can even sell anything. You see, I'm going to give you one person who is good at this: Bill Gates. Bill Gates is a very good, no doubt, Bill Gates is an intelligent person, no? But at first, he's really good. He's people smart. Why? If you're going to look at the history of Microsoft, he was just starting with his Microsoft company. You see, and since there was no product to market yet, you know what he did? He went to a well-known computer store during his time, and he was able to market. He was able to sell a non-existing program. Imagine that. If he is not intelligent, he could not do that. But he was able to market a non-existing program. And when the computer company agreed to buy that non-existing program, that was the time that he and his cohort started programming, and they came out with the operational system that we are actually using. He came out with MS-DOS, Microsoft DOS, yeah, DOS. I do not know if you know this, but still during that time, it was actually very familiar and it's very useful, and we utilize that, no? So he was able to market that. He is really people smart. He's very good at that. No? Then there are people who are actually very good and very comfortable being alone. Very reflecting. Now these are the people who are always in the convent, no? Who are monks. They're trying to be alone. They don't want to go around with people. No, they hate people in a way because they are very comfortable with themselves. You know, they would always withdraw because they are always reflecting. You see, they try to understand themselves. They try to understand their peculiarities. They try to understand what's going on, and they are very comfortable with themselves. We call that as minds of smart. Now, if you're going to observe people, you can see around a lot of people like this, withdrawing or withdrawn. These are the people who would like to stay at the back, who would like to stay unnoticed. Yeah? And they are actually very good, no? In a way. They're very quiet, very silent, always reflecting, always thinking. Yeah? And they are at peace with themselves. They would like to be alone always. And when they are, you see, when they are with people, they think that 1 second is already a century for them. There are people like that, no? I would rather withdraw than to speak to these people. You see? So 1 minute staying with people may actually be a generation for them already, and that's not good. But of course, no, as I told you earlier, its intelligence is actually independent from one another. You see? So there is also music is smart. You will be on awe on those people who could actually play musical instrument without any effort at all. But of course, not all are gifted, no? There are people who really would like to play, but they cannot play. We end up loving music, including me, no? And then visual spatial, teachers smart. These are the people who are very good in painting or good in manipulating their environment as such. Vincent van Gogh, as I mentioned to you earlier, very visual. He was able to Gaguen. There are so many, So the modern masters, their paintings, if you're going to look, actually, including Leonardo da Vinci, I think everybody's familiar with Da Vinci, no? Da Vinci codes. Leonardo da Vinci is really a genius, no? He knows mathematics, he knows physics, he knows nature, he knows. I think he was the first one to have all these multiple intelligence
Excuse me,
combined.
doctor.
Yeah,
Who's Benji?
Da Vinci, Leonardo da Vinci.
Benji.
We call that Da Vinci. D-A.
Leonardo da Vinci, you mean?
We call that Da Vinci because it's Italian. He's Italian. But
Are you talking about the actor?
no, it's not. It's Da Vinci means he's a scientist. He's a philosopher also. No, he invented a lot.
Because there is another
Da Vinci Code. Da Vinci Code.
There's another person who's called Leonardo da Vinci, and he's an actor. So we're mixed up. That's why.
Leonardo DiCaprio, the handsome guy, the handsome actor.
Oh God, there is also another one called Da Vinci.
Yeah, the Da Vinci Code, very famous. I think there are so many books written about him. But if you are going to Google after this, Leonardo da Vinci, he's really genius, no? He was able to invent so many things. He was able to come out with so many books, so many explanations about the universe.
Excuse me, doctor.
Yeah?
Can you spell the name of the scientist you say? Vinci.
D-A, Delta Alpha Space,
D-A?
D-A,
Okay.
space, B-I-N-C-I. Yeah. I usually give him as example of really extreme intelligence.
You
Of course,
mean
we
Da
have,
Vinci?
huh?
Da Vinci.
Da Vinci, yes, Da Vinci. As you, we, not Italians, are pronouncing it Da Vinci,
Yeah.
but it's Da Vinci, no?
There is also artist Leonardo da Vinci.
He is an artist also.
He okay.
You know what I mean?
Same one. Yeah, I know him. Italian.
He's intelligent. He is really intelligent. He's good in mathematics. He's good in physics. He's good in everything. Yeah.
Okay.
In
Thank you,
fact,
doctor.
before the arrival of Wright brothers, he was able to come out and conceptualize the helicopter and a flying object. He was able to conceptualize also tanks. You see, during his time. Yeah. And he was able to, together with Michelangelo, he was able to paint also some sort of paintings, a lot of paintings in the Vatican. And he's also a sculptor, He was able to come out also with sculptures. So many things. He's really very good, no? If you're going to read him. I think he's the embodiment of all these multiple intelligences in one. Yeah? So this is exactly what I'm trying to tell you, for visual spatial, we have this, no? We have Vincent van Gogh. Would you like also to read about Vincent van Gogh? Van Gogh, V-E-N space G-O-G-H. No, I like him also, no, because he developed Meniere's disease, and at the same time, a lot of people thought that he is very mad. No, in psychology and psychiatry, would like to understand him. No, he was not mad, but he was simply having what we call as Meniere's disease. Yeah, he's very good. No, there are people, there are geniuses who came ahead of us, and this influenced knowledge. This actually influenced us to think further. No, yeah. So visual and spatial, picture smart. Then naturalistic, of course, no doubt. We have Leonardo da Vinci, He tries to study nature, he tries to explain nature, he tries to wonder about nature, and so on and so forth. And of course, if you love nature the same way, no? Kinesthetic or body smart, the athletic people, those people are good in dancing. You know this, no? no matter what, this is the area where I failed, no? No matter what I do, I cannot be a good dancer. There are people who really can dance. There are people who really can run, can play their body in any way, can manipulate their body in any way. You see? Because sports, dancing require a lot of body manipulation. You see? So that's actually body smart. If you're good in sport, then you are actually also an intelligent person. This is what is actually good at in Howard Gardner's multiple intelligences. You see, multiple intelligence emphasize this concept. Every single individual is an intelligent person, and other than the people who came before him, you see, a person may possess two or more of these intelligences. So that's the reason why every single person, just because of this concept, just because of this theory, every single person is very intelligent in any way, at their own way, at their own right. Okay? So you understand what I'm actually trying to emphasize here? Still, we are under psychometric approach. Yeah? So the first explanation about intelligence is your process approach. Now we have psychometric approach. And another theory that actually diversified from psychometric approach is multiple intelligences as such. All right. Any questions so far? Shall we go ahead? We will have a break at 9:30. Yeah. So we have triarchic theory of intelligence is another theory that attempts to explain an intelligent concept. No. So here, Robert Sternberg and Richard Wagner. Now, it's not Wagner. Again, Richard Wagner. Wagner is a German. Yeah? B, that becomes W. Yeah? W becomes B. Isn't it? The Volkswagen. No? Volkswagen. All right. Richard Wagner. 1987 to 1993. No? He became famous on that. They became good at that one, no? So they agree with Gardner's idea of multiple intelligences, but distinguish more simply among three intelligences. So they try to classify and reclassify the intelligence of Howard Gardner. Gardner mentioned about 8. Robert Sternberg and Richard Wagner only agreed on 3. So they classify the 8 intelligences into 3 only. You see? So this is actually the wonder of criticizing one theory after another so that you can actually come out with your own. So the two of them agree with Gardner's, no doubt, of multiple intelligences, but they mention only that these intelligences can actually be classified into 3, right? Distinguish more simply among 3 intelligences. These are the following. Number 1, academic problem solving skills. Right? That can be assessed by intelligence tests. So this is psychometric approach. We can actually measure this. Number 2, practical intelligence. You see? Often required for everyday tasks. No? They were able to come out and they were trying to unify all the theories of intelligences. Unified theory, you know, like in physics, that is unified. They are trying also to unify all the theories of physics. In intelligence also, they're trying to unify all the theories of intelligences. So here, Sternberg and Wagner tried only to say 3. Hey, there is such thing as academic problem solving skills intelligence. There is such thing as problem, or we call it practical intelligences. No? Your practicality. This is actually an offshoot of problem solving skills that we have earlier. This is practical intelligences. After all, we use this intelligence, our intelligence, in order to solve day-to-day problem, no? So the second intelligence, according to Sternberg and Wagner, is practical intelligence, often required for everyday tasks. And number 3, the creative intelligence. You know this already, what I mean. You know this already, right? demonstrate in reacting or writing a novel situations or reacting to a novel situations. A novel situations, you will be able to come up with creative ideas. There are so many people like that. No? Out of this word idea, good ideas, right? That can be displayed when you are trying to solve problems that you may have and you try to come up with a solution. I believe, I think when I was, you have not seen a series called MacGyver, you know. If you know MacGyver, this is a very famous TV series during our time, during my time when I was in high school. He was able to solve anything or everything, you know, using simple techniques, no? So this is the thing. So in triarchic theory of intelligence, remember, according to Wagner and Sternberg, there are only three. Number one, academic intelligence. Number two, practical intelligence. And number three, creative intelligence. Right? So this theory is called triarchic theory of intelligence. Understood? Any questions so far? Right?
No questions.
No question. Now, according to Wagner and Sternberg, there are three parts of intelligence that we know of. One, the componential intelligence components. Second, the experiential intelligence. And third, the contextual intelligence. Actually, these are very heavy subjects for now. I will, better we have a break. We can actually come up again at around 9:40, okay? I'll give you 15 minutes break. Will that be okay?
Thank you, Doctor.
Coffee break, no? Take your coffee at home, a little bit walking, and then you come out at 9:40, no? So that we can finish the topic, okay?
Okay, inshallah.
All right.